Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another gear review with Brad from the band The National Pool. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Boss Super Octave OC-3. This retails for $128, so it is a little bit more on the pricier side. Depending, I know that there's like some boutique pedals that can get really expensive, but as far as Boss's pedals go, you know that distortion pedal's like really cheap. The orange one, it's like $40 or something. So at $128, this one is definitely more of a little bit on the higher end of the pricing spectrum. So definitely watch this review, watch other reviews, see if this is for you. If money is an issue, I picked this up on Amazon a few years ago, and I absolutely love this pedal. And what I ended up doing with it was for a side project a side project band that I titled Shaky Bear. I pretty much did every song starting out with bass and running the bass to this. And as you can see, this has inputs for both a guitar in and a bass in. I haven't tried plugging both in at the same time. I don't think that would work. But I guess that the pedal reacts differently to if you're using a bass or a guitar, which is great that they accommodated for both of those. And I'll just get this right out of the way right now. The direct out and the output mono, I don't know what the hell that does. And I've used this pedal a lot, and I just kind of like, use either one, see what sounds better. I don't know. Ask somebody else. But so let's get into the pros and cons here. Starting out with the cons, again, I bought this pedal. I'm happy with it, so I don't have too many cons. But probably the main thing is that this is definitely a monophonic pedal, meaning that no matter what you're doing, if it's on bass or guitar, you can really only play one note at a time. And if you don't, if you try to play like a chord or something, the sound gets really garbled up, and it basically tries to switch between both notes. Now that can actually sound kind of cool if you work it out enough where you can get this to react in a certain manner. But it can be kind of counterproductive if you're trying to do a specific lead and the pedal just isn't quite working with you. So you kind of have to work with what the pedal naturally does. And funny enough, there is actually a setting on here for the polyphonic. I think that they tried to build it in where you could play chords and stuff, but it just doesn't work as far as what I've seen. I think if you're looking for something to go down an octave on a whole chord, you're better off with another pedal, which I'll review later, which is I think the Super Shifter, which is also a great pedal. But for this, I don't know why they include the polyphonic. It just doesn't quite cut it. So that would be one of my main gripes with it. The other one is the price. Again, $128, not too bad, but depending on your budget, that you might want to look at a different pedal. But I don't know if there's any other pedals that do what this does. And those are really the main things. So let's get into the pros here. A couple things I like about this pedal are definitely that you can plug in both guitar and bass. I think that's just awesome, and that's why I just saw the bass in, and I was like, I'm gonna start a side project band of starting writing songs with just the bass, and it sounds great. As if bass wasn't already deep enough, this thing can get you even deeper tones. And then one of the other things that I really like about this is the I just turned the knob for some reason as if it's going to change anything. It's not even plugged in, but it has a drive setting, so it's essentially got a built-in distortion into this octave pedal, and it actually sounds pretty good, especially when mixed with the octave effect. It definitely sounds good, and it's a unique tone. There's no customizability. You can't change the tone or sustain or bite or whatever. It's just distortion or no distortion. So if you don't like that, the tone of this distortion, you can just go clean on the octave 2 setting, and then just run your own distortion pedal after this in your chain. So that's awesome. I don't know if I mentioned that this does run on a 9-volt battery, of course, like every other Boss pedal. Just change the 9-volt there, and this does have the adapter if you want to go into an outlet. And so if you're not familiar with octave pedals, I actually wasn't too familiar. I just kind of thought, like it looks cool. Didn't do a whole lot of research, just kind of bought it and ended up loving it. But now I don't want to make any claims I don't know about, but the band CKY, I quickly realized after plugging in a guitar and doing some lead stuff, this is a very large part of the CKY lead guitar sound. Incredibly unique sound, and they already got it, so I wouldn't want to, in all the stuff that I wrote with using this pedal, that's why I use bass, because I figured, CKY already established that tone on lead guitar, so I don't want to just rip that off. But you can if you want to, and I'm sure, so what I was saying, I don't want to make any claims or anything, I'm sure that they probably are running a few other pedals in addition to this, but from what I've heard from playing guitar through this is a very large part of that sound. So a couple of things I like here are the two, more or less, they're like wet and dry signals. So you have your direct level and your octave 1 level. I don't know. Oh, and then I guess there's a second octave. So maybe you get 2 octaves. I don't really get too much into specifics. I just kind of plug it in to see if it sounds cool or not and start twisting knobs. But that's definitely good if you're trying to dial in a really specific tone. That can help you, if you want more of your natural signal and just a little bit of that kind of octave down there, that's pretty cool. And so another thing I like about this pedal is again, just the uniqueness. You don't hear it too often. Excuse me. A lot of a lot of guitar tones, I think one of the biggest things about being a guitar player, once you kind of get the basics down, you got to establish your own sound, which is definitely what CKY did with this. And so give it a shot and see if you can come up with a different approach to it. I ran bass through it. CKY ran guitar through it. Try a drum machine. I've even tried vocals through this, and of course it sounds just crazy. But maybe you've got a song where you need some crazy deep, distorted octave out vocals, and it's pretty cool. So I suppose I like the metal casing. I don't get too into the casings much because I don't really play live anymore, but it is pretty durable. I have seen on occasions, now I know every Boss pedal is like that. Sometimes after they get some wear on them, they can kind of slip in this little plastic part, which I'm sure you can buy another one. But that just doesn't, it starts to get some wear on it and doesn't hold as well as it used to. But, I think overall it's pretty durable. And I guess a pro. I can only assume that this direct out and the output mono, that's got to be a plus for somebody. So I feel like I kind of lost the plot there towards the end of this review, but nonetheless, this is a fantastic pedal. I'm super happy with my purchase here. I got it years ago, and whenever I need that sound, whenever I feel like writing a song for that side project, this is the first thing I reach for. Just plug in a bass and see what you can write. And just to give you, I'm in Baltimore. It's kind of like the constant sound. So let's take a break from the sirens and let's take a listen to how I use this on my side project Shaky Bear. And this is actually a song I haven't released at all, so exclusive. So check this out. So there you go. That's what this sounds like. I was running that. I was running a bass through this pedal, and some of the mixing is off on that tune. That was well before. I'm still learning mixing, and that song was from 4 years ago, and I never even finished it, never released it. But Boss Super Octave OC-3, $128. You can probably find it used if you want to knock the price down a bit. With pedals like this, I tend to buy new just because I don't want to have any wear and tear from somebody else, and you know, there's so many guts inside of here that could go wrong, especially if someone's been on the road with it and just knocking it around. So I just figured, you know, why not just get a new one? But it's a fantastic pedal from Boss. Highly recommend it. If we're talking stars, out of 5, I'd give it a 5. Despite that kind of garbly sound that it can sometimes get, you just got to work around it, and it's a super cool effect. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like this. Give this video a thumbs up, and we got a lot more gear reviews coming your way. And check out the playlist too. I do like Magic the Gathering streams. There's all kinds of stuff there, so check them out. Thanks.